Good morning, class. I know today would traditionally be our library time, so I wanted to pick a book from my collection that I thought that you would enjoy as much as I do. This is called Swimming with Sharks: The Daring Discoveries of Eugenie Clark. And Eugenie Clark is actually a real shark scientist, so this is what would be considered a biography. So it wasn't written by her, but it is written about her. And it is written by Heather Lang, and the pictures are by Jordi Solano. There we go. Little Jeannie stood on the railing and pressed her face against the mysterious glass tank. Most people saw piercing eyes, rows of sharp teeth, vicious, bloodthirsty killers. Not Eugenie Clark. She saw sleek, graceful fish gliding through the water. She longed to be inside the tank, on the bottom of the ocean, swimming with the sharks. Every Saturday morning, Jeannie raced into the New York Aquarium and shared her passion with anyone who would listen. Jeannie loved learning about all kinds of fish, but there wasn't much information about sharks. She dreamed someday she'd discover their secrets, too. Mama saved her pennies and bought Jeannie her own fish tank. Soon, their small apartment overflowed with fish and reptiles. Jeannie wondered, do fish get sick? Do they think? Do they sleep? She observed, she sketched, and she took detailed notes. So I hope you're recognizing some of these skills as what we want you to do during science as well. Jeannie dreamed of becoming a fish scientist and exploring the ocean like her hero William Beebe? I'll look that up. Maybe you should take up typing and you could be a secretary to William Beebe, Mama suggested. In the 1930s, few people dared to study the depths of the sea, and none were women. Most people didn't think women could be scientists or explorers. I don't want to be anybody's secretary, Jeannie said. So the 1930s, women's options were a little bit limited. That's why she's suggesting the secretary position. But also remember, that's almost 100 years ago because we're in 2020. So I know this one's a little hard to see. There we go. Jeannie took every science class she could find in college and got her master's degree in zoology. When a famous ichthyologist, which is a fish scientist, asked her to come to California to be his research assistant and take oceanography classes, she jumped at the chance. The ocean became her classroom. Jeannie collected fish and studied them. She took water samples. She dissected a swell shark to investigate how and why it puffs up. Wearing a face mask, Jeannie explored the underwater world for the first time. Its beauty mesmerized her. Jeannie couldn't wait to dive deeper, stay underwater longer, and maybe even see some sharks. And down here, this is an excerpt of her science journal. So sharks are complex, and talking about what she's observing. One day on a research trip, Jeannie's professor let her try helmet diving. As she slipped into the cold water, the heavy metal helmet pressed on her shoulders. A line from the helmet attached to an air pump on the boat. So this is the line of the air pump. This is the line to help hold the metal helmet. Down, down. The kelp welcomed her, waving back and forth with underwater currents. Down, down, down. She marveled at the fish all around her. Jeannie was finally on the bottom of the ocean. So up until this point, she's never had the opportunity to, because a face mask only allows you to go so far. You have to be able to hold and maintain your breath while using a face mask. Here, the air is provided for her, so she can stay down as long as she wants. Well, as long as the air's there. In 1949, the U.S. Navy hired Eugenie to study poisonous fish in the South Seas. One afternoon, while collecting fish underwater, she sensed something behind her. A huge shark. Eugenie froze. The shark swam closer and closer, a few feet away. Then suddenly it turned and dove down, disappearing into the darkness. Eugenie was too excited to be scared. Most people said sharks were stupid, unpredictable eating machines. Eugenie believed there must be more to these beautiful fish. Here's another note where it says, most sharks are timid. And timid means shy. It means they're not the mindless eating creatures at every chance they get. In 1955, she opened the Cape Hayes Marine Laboratory in Florida. Right away, she built a shark pen next to the dock. No one had studied living sharks in their natural environment before. Eugenie caught hammerheads, blacktips, dogfish sharks, lemon sharks, nurse sharks, bull sharks, and tiger sharks. And this is a dock. So docks are where boats pull into to stay. And this is the pen that she's talking about. Sharks are diverse, meaning there are a lot of different ones. She observed, she sketched, she took detailed notes. The more time Eugenie spent with sharks, the more she knew people were wrong about them. She wondered, could sharks be trained? And here she's taking measurements. In no time, Eugenie taught a pair of lemon sharks to press a whiteboard connected to an underwater bell, then swim to another spot to cash their reward. The female shark discovered if she let the male press the target, she could gobble up food before he got there. Even after a 10-week break, the sharks remembered the drill right away. So she's testing a claim here. She's wondering, can sharks be trained? And so she was teaching them if they press a whiteboard, the bell went off and they would get fish. So they were able to learn and expand on that. So sharks are clever. Scientists all over the world admired Eugenie's research and came to work with the shark lady at her lab. As diving equipment improved, Eugenie dove deeper. She spent longer periods of time underwater and uncovered more secrets about sharks. Eugenie studied the mating frenzy of the gray reef shark. She researched an underwater hatchery for the Japanese swell shark. She swam with a dogfish shark as small as a pencil and a whale shark as big as a bus. So all of these are different types of sharks that she was able to explore, and this one here is the whale shark. Some sharks are gentle, meaning the whale shark is. It does not eat meat. Eugenie knew the more she discovered about sharks, the less people would fear them. When she heard there might be sleeping sharks in Mexico, she had to investigate. Scientists thought sharks had to be swimming to keep oxygen flowing through their mouths and over their gills. She wondered, why would a shark lie still? Down, 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 she swam into the shark's cave. Suddenly, she was face to face with a requiem shark, one of the world's most feared fish. Was the shark really sleeping? Would it feel trapped in the cave and attack? Eugenie stared at the shark's sharp, biting teeth and the 4 rows of extra teeth behind them. The shark's mouth opened and closed, pumping oxygen over its gills. A remora fish cleaned the shark, wiggling in and out of the gills and nibbling on parasites. So, I know it's really hard to see right here, but there is a fish going in and out, and that is a remora fish. Sharks have relationships with them where they will help keep the parasites and help keep the sharks clean. Sharks are sophisticated. As Eugenie swam toward the shark, it followed her with its eyes. The shark was not sleeping, but it did not attack. She took water samples and tested rocks and water currents. She observed, she sketched, she took detailed notes. Eugenie discovered the water in the cave was less salty, loosening parasites on the shark and making cleaning easier for the remoras. These underwater caves were cleaning stations for sharks. The more time Eugenie spent underwater, the fewer sharks she saw. People killed them out of fear. People killed them for their fins. People killed them thinking it would make beaches safer. Sharks had ruled the oceans for more than 400 million years, and now they were in serious danger. Eugenie's research proved that sharks were not voracious killers. She knew most sharks should be more afraid of us than we are of them. Eugenie spoke out to the world. Sharks are magnificent and misunderstood. When Eugenie talked, people listened. Dr. Eugenie Clark had become one of the most respected fish scientists in the world. After her decades of research and discoveries, Eugenie knew there are lots of things, big things, that we don't know about. There will always be more to learn and more surprises. She never stopped pressing her face against the glass and wondering. This is an underwater submarine, a submersible, and this is like the depths of the ocean. It's like as it's one of as far as you can go. That's why it's so dark. So it's showing that she is continuing to move and discover new things. Author's note. So this is a section about the Eugenie Clark, meaning it will tell us more information about her. This is more information about the sharks that she talks about. So, author's note. As a young girl, I saw the shark movie Jaws, and a fear of sharks followed me into adulthood. By the way, that's actually very common. My mom talked about the same thing, where Jaws really did make people very, very scared of sharks. My fear drew me to this story of an open-minded woman who didn't judge sharks based on rumors or appearances. She not only dared to swim with sharks, but followed a career path that few people, men or women, had the courage to pursue. Eugenie experienced discrimination both as a woman and a Japanese American. Columbia turned her down for graduate school because she was a woman. Instead, she got a job in a chemistry lab and took night classes at New York University. By the way, Columbia is a university. But remember, this was over 100 years ago, so women did not have as many options. Later, Eugenie was denied the opportunity to attend overnight research trips because she was a woman. Once the government hired her to do research in the Philippines, but wouldn't clear her passport because of her Japanese heritage. Eugenie never let the discrimination bring her down. She always kept moving forward. She believed these experiences helped make her aggressive and spunky, traits that served her well in her career. And remember, these quotation marks, aggressive and spunky, that means that's how Eugenie described herself. So the author is directly talking about Eugenie Clark, but she must have found this in like a journal or something. I was struck deeply by Eugenie's intense wonder about the ocean and its inhabitants. Her curiosity drove her to study all kinds of fish. She researched filefish that changed color, pufferfish, mysterious garden eels, and poisonous fish. She published over 170 articles about fish and made 72 submersible dives. For 23 years, she taught at the University of Maryland and won countless honors and medals, all while raising 4 children. When Jeannie passed away in 2015 at the age of 92, the world lost an exceptional scientist and an even better person. I am so grateful I had the chance to meet her at the Moat Marine Laboratory and Aquarium in Sarasota, Florida. Having read about the Little Cape Hayes Marine Laboratory she founded in 1955, I was overwhelmed by the scope and size of this now world-renowned research center and aquarium. Jeannie's office, filled with books, pictures, shark jaws, and other mementos, revealed the depths of her past adventures. At age 91, after 80 years of researching fish, her eyes sparkled as she described her upcoming research trip to the Solomon Islands, where she would study the spotted oceanic triggerfish and get in a dive or two. So she never quit studying, even as she got older. Let me know what you thought of this book. I'm actually going to be sharing some more scientists, and I hope you enjoyed this. And I will see you in another video.